Do you want to know why your English is not improving despite trying your level best? In this video, I am going to give you 5 reasons why your English is not improving. Because there is no one size fits for all. You have been doing everything as per other people's guidance. Whatever people are telling you, whatever people are advising you, whatever others are doing, you are doing that. There's no harm in taking advice, there is no harm in taking guidance from others, and there is no harm in following others' footsteps. But what mistake you are doing here is you are not able to figure out what works for you more. I'm not saying don't follow others' footsteps, but you have to figure out what works best for you. Whether listening is your strength, whether reading is your strength, what is your strength that you have to figure out. And you have to work on your strength. Side by side, you have to polish other skills also, but you have to take the help of that particular thing that which is your strength. For example, if listening is your strength, then you have to devote more and more time to listening, because it is the skill that is giving you more result. Some people, for them, reading is their strength because they are able to retain more after reading something. Because you know what happens, I have seen a lot of people, they read a book, they read a chapter of a book, but afterwards they don't remember anything. So that means their reading is not that good, their reading skills are not that good, because they are not retaining anything. If after reading a book you are not able to retain anything, if after reading a chapter you are not able to retain anything, so there is no point reading several books when you are not able to retain. It's better to read one book 2-3 times so that you remember what you have read in that book, so that you are able to tell stories to other whatever you have read in that book. Instead of consuming so many content, it's always better to consume less and retain and practice that. Whatever you are reading, you have to practice that. Second mistake that you are doing here is you are consuming too much of content. Like I told you, if you are doing something which is not giving you any result, why you are wasting your time in that particular thing? If you are consuming lot of content, by consuming content I mean is you are watching so much of YouTube content, you are reading books, you are doing so much of so many things, you are watching English movies, you are doing so many things, but the result is not coming out. Outcome is nil. Despite so much of input, the output is nil. That means you are doing the thing in wrong manner. So stop doing such thing. If you are not getting result, you are your best judge. Nobody can tell whether you are actually gaining from something or not, but you yourself can feel it whether you are gaining something or not. So you have to figure out, you have to see whether after consuming so much of content, are you able to retain anything, whether there is any output or not. If there is no output coming out, then why are you wasting your precious time in consuming so much of content, so much of things you are doing, but the outcome you are not getting? So stop doing all this. This is the biggest mistake that you are doing. Third mistake that you are doing is you are not increasing your vocabulary. Without vocabulary, you cannot speak English that well. Vocabulary is the backbone of language. Without vocabulary, how can you think of speaking English fluently? There is so much of difference between speaking basic English and speaking English well. By learning few sentences, by just learning the basic English, you will never be able to speak English fluently. These are just mugged up sentences, and by all that you will never be able to. In order to speak English well, you need to know the proper vocabulary. And if you really want to speak complex sentences, then vocabulary is a must. You need to build your vocabulary every day. Without proper vocabulary, there is no shortcut. You cannot speak the language. vocabulary is a must. The more words you know, the better you can express yourself. For expressing yourself, you need to have a good knowledge of vocabulary. As I told you in my previous video also, every day learn at least 2 new words and write down somewhere in your diary or in some notebook. See, without any pain there is no gain. It is applicable for English also. With no pain, no gain. So you got to do lot of hard work. You got to write somewhere new words, and then time to time you got to revise also. You got to revise every other week. You got to revise those words. You got to see what progress you are making, so that you can figure out the ways by which you can improve yourself, to see whether the words which I am writing, I'm able to use them or not. So find out all those things by yourself. This you can only tell whether the words are actually helpful. Write down sentences also. Make form sentences of the new words. Write down somewhere, so that when you forget, you can revise and go through whatever you have written in your diary or notebook. Just go through them once in a while, so that those words become a part of your subconscious, right? The fourth mistake that you are doing is you are not immersing yourself fully in English. In order to learn English, in order to be good in English, you got to practice it 24/7. Just don't make English your part-time work. Just devote yourself fully. You have to devote yourself 24/7. Think in English, do everything, write whatever you are doing, do it in English. Just love the language and it will help you. The fifth thing that you have to do is just get rid of that negative critic. There's a voice in everybody's head that's always holding us back. So just get rid of that inner critic, because whenever we listen to that inner critic of ours, we become powerless. We lose confidence in ourselves. So just tell shut up to that inner critic and do whatever you feel like. Don't listen to that inner critic. It will always tell you, no, you are not good enough, you are not that good, people will laugh, don't go out, don't speak, you are not good, you are not perfect, people will make fun of you, they will mock at you. So it will always tell you, it will always stop you. So you got to be strong. You have to just do whatever you feel like doing. So be confident about yourself, and whenever your inner critic tries to stop you, just don't listen to it. Make it a point. Keep telling yourself that I'm not going to listen to this inner critic. Rather, I would do the opposite of what it is telling me. If it tells me not to do, I will do it. If it tells me I'm not good enough, I will show it that I am good enough. So always tell your inner critic, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I am going to do what I feel is right for me. I have to learn, I will learn. So you are your best judge, and self-help is the only way by which you can speak well, learn well, and do well in life. With this, I will end this video. Thank you for being here.